Hello everyone and welcome to our Sciences Po Live broadcast dedicated to the digital, new technology and public policy stream offered at the Sciences Po School of Public Affairs. My name is Adrien Kennett and I serve as Marketing and Recruitment Manager at Sciences Po. I'm truly delighted that so many of you are able to be with us today, so whichever part of the world you are connected from, welcome to you all and thank you for being with us. We are going to be together for about 20 minutes to give you the most up-to-date on the digital, new technology and public policy stream offered at the Sciences Po School of Public Affairs. To do so, several guests are with me. By my side in this studio is Léa Douard, academic advisor of the digital, new technology and public policy stream. Thank you, Léa, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we also have two students and graduates from the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream, Julia and Francesco. Thank you for being with us remotely. We'll get back to you in a few minutes. Now, to you viewers watching us live on YouTube today, should you have any question at this point, you can ask your question in the chat module of this YouTube live using the chat. We'll be happy to answer a few of those questions in the second part of this broadcast. Now let's get started, and my first question goes to Léa Douard. Léa, as a start, could you explain to us what policy streams are? They're quite unique teaching approaches offered at the Sciences Po School of Public Affairs. Could you explain what policy streams are?
Yes, of course. So when you apply to the School of Public Affairs, actually you have to choose between one of our two master's degrees, the Master in Public Policy or the Master in European Affairs, and then you can choose among 11 policy streams, which enable you to delve more deeply into a specific topic you want to explore, and the digital, new technology and public policy is one of them.
So we understand policy streams allow students to personalize their degree by delving into a specific subject according to their professional objectives. What are actually the academic objectives of the stream?
Yeah. So the curriculum is based on a multidisciplinary approach, which enables students to understand the economics, legal, political, ethical impacts of new technologies. And also we think that it's important for students to develop some basic technical skills, like basic coding or data analysis, data visualization, to be able to open the black box of technologies and to really understand, for example, when you talk about generative AI, it's important to really understand the implications and not just from a purely theoretical point of view.
So the digital, new technology and public policy stream equips students with the capacities to drive and manage digital transformation projects in public and private sectors. What are the main subjects taught in this stream?
Yeah, so during the 2 years you have 7 courses specific to this policy stream. So for example, at the beginning of the program you start with a 3 days bootcamp in data science, quite intense, and then you have several courses like digital economics, a course called decoding biases in artificial intelligence. You have a law course which compares different regulatory strategies toward big tech. You have also a sociology course focused on digital public space and democracy, and many other courses that you can find on the website, and you can also find projects made by students in those courses during the previous years.
You mentioned how the stream is offered in both masters of the School of Public Affairs at Sciences Po, the Master in Public Policy and the Master in European Affairs. How is the stream articulated with those two masters?
It's indeed important to remind that this is not a master's degree in digital policy. You are firstly enrolled in the Master in Public Policy or the Master in European Affairs, and you have this opportunity to build a specific expertise through the digital policy stream. So concretely, it means that in addition to the courses as I just described before, students have 1 to 3 courses per semester, and those courses enable them to develop quantitative and qualitative skills linked to public policy or European affairs. For example, public analysis and policy evaluation, public economics, European economics, governance and democracy, and many other courses. And I would say that this combination of fundamental courses linked to public policy or European affairs, plus this multidisciplinary program focused on digital and new technology, enable students to frame and to develop a very specific and quite rare profile on the job market.
Leah, you mentioned 4 semesters of study. How are the 2 years of study organized?
Yeah. So the first year gives students a very solid academic backgrounds, which enable them to understand the digital issues from a multidisciplinary perspective. So economics, law, sociology, computational social sciences, etc. Those courses are taught by renowned researchers. And then in the second year, it's more focused on professionalization. So you have courses taught by practitioners from the digital sector. Students have more freedom to choose the elective courses they want to really personalize their learning journey. And they have also the opportunity to do the off-campus semester with an internship or a master's thesis. And I think that we will talk about it with Giulia and Francesco just after.
Thank you, Leah. Is there any language or disciplinary prerequisites to apply to the program?
Yeah, so it's important to say that there is no technical prerequisite. So you don't need to know how to code or how to manipulate data prior to the program, because you will learn to do it during the program. But all the courses are taught in English, so you need to have a C1 level in English to apply for this program.
Thank you very much, Leah, for this introduction. And now let's welcome Giulia. Giulia, thank you again for being with us. You are a second year in the Digital, New Technology and Public Policy stream. You are originally from Italy, and you did your undergraduate studies at the University of Milan. What made you choose the Digital, New Technology and Public Policy stream, Giulia?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. So yeah, I graduated in my bachelor in political science, so it was quite of a generalist profile that I went through in my undergraduate. So my wish for my master's studies was to dive into a bit of a more specific and expertise-focused field. So that's when I started to look into the digital field as one of interest for me, and that's why Sciences Po Public Affairs, Digital, New Technology and Public Policy stream came up to me. So the core interest was really to look into having a more specific and more targeted study experience, but also professional experience. And this is something that also Sciences Po offers very strongly in the international landscape, especially in Europe. So I was very much interested in this policy specialization and in the professionalization approach of the university that allowed me to have several experiences throughout the 3 years of my master that I'd be happy to talk more about now in the talk.
Thank you, Giulia. You are a second-year student. You'll be graduating from the master at the School of Public Affairs next month. If you look back at your Sciences Po days, did you have a favorite class in the Digital, New Technology and Public Policy stream?
Yeah, I would say so. I studied in the European Affairs specialization, so I had a variety of courses going from European studies to digital policy specific courses. So I would say the ones that I enjoyed the most were probably the technical ones focused on data analysis. So I recall some data science for public policy classes. And then most recently, one course that I took in the past semester, so my last one, was one of the case studies, and it was focused on antitrust in the digital area. It was a very interesting one that taught me a lot about the Digital Markets Act and the ongoing antitrust and competition law in the digital market.
You mentioned classes. You also did internships, 3 different internships during your master, on working on digital and tech policies for both public sector, the European Union and the European Commission, and a private company, ADL Consulting. How did those professional experiences offer you a global overview of what digital and new technology policies are?
So The great thing about the tech policy area is that even if it does look very much specialized and targeted per se, it actually comprises very different fields itself. So whether it is cybersecurity, whether it is artificial intelligence, data protection, or platform governance. So there is a core interest in diving into all of this different specialization within the field. And by doing it, there's also an extra interest in doing it from different perspectives. So either it is the private sector, the public sector, or NGO or academia. So throughout the different internship that I've gone through, I was able to understand a bit the perspective of all the different actors in the field, which of course helped me to learn more about the topic, but also to understand what type of profile suits more my interest and my perspectives. So when it comes to the global dimension of tech policy, I would say that the internship that I took in San Francisco with the European Union office was one of the more comprehensive for this purpose, because the focus was precisely on transatlantic approaches to tech regulation. So on EU-US relationship, especially data protection, artificial intelligence, and platform governance. So very much broad sphere to look into.
And additionally to those internships, you decided to write a master's thesis in the frame of your master. What is your master's thesis about?
Yes, so I discussed it yesterday, so very fresh topic. My thesis was about the Digital Services Act, which is a European regulation focused on platform governance. So we are currently in the phase of implementation and enforcement of the regulation. So my thesis looked into the implementation of two specific provisions in the Digital Services Act, which is the risk assessment and risk mitigation provisions. And especially I looked into the potential harms and impacts that platforms can have on minors' mental health online. So very much an interesting topic we can discuss further if someone is interested.
And you had the great opportunity to do a semester abroad in Singapore. Did the experience in Singapore give you an even more international idea of digital and new technology policies?
I would say so. It was a very cool experience because I did this throughout my gap year. So it was an occasion to go abroad. It was my first time in Asia, and Singapore is indeed a very interesting case study when it comes to digitalization. It is often called the smart nation. So in the past year, Singapore did focus a lot of its strategical approaches and policies on the tech transformation. Either it is from a digital government point of view or from a more entrepreneurial point of view. So studying in the National University of Singapore gave me a great overlook to all of these developments, and it was especially interesting because it gave me an opportunity to compare the type of approaches and systems that we're used to here in Europe to something very different, both on a values point of view but also on a processes point of view. So I would recommend it because it's both very professionally enriching but also personally especially.
Thank you very much, Giulia. Now, final questions. We do hope that many of the viewers watching us live today are future applicants to the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream. What advice would you give to an applicant willing to join the program next year?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would say that maybe something that I recalled already in this discussion is that the digital policy field is very broad, even though it looks very specific at first touch. So my recommendation would be to also try and find a further specialization into the field, because whether it is artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, cloud, semiconductors, there's a lot happening. And personally, that it did help me a lot to choose something even more specific, which is platform governance in my case, and even more specific, this EU regulation that I talked about, the Digital Services Act. So not only it helped me a lot to dive deep into the complexities and the technicalities of the issue, but also to have even more specific professional perspectives after my master. Then you can always change, you can always understand that maybe your policy focus could be a bit different, a bit more switched to another topic, but I think it helps a lot and it gives you a good leverage on your own personal understanding of a topic. And then moreover, I think as students, we worry quite a lot about the experiences we do, the right internship, the right exchange program, the right thesis to write. But at the end of the day, the field is so wide and so fastly developing. Literally every day you can just open a newsletter, that every experience counts. So at this point in time, either you will, if you go and enroll into this master, you decide to take an academic exchange, a master thesis, an internship, whatever there is, as long as you're committing to it, it's going to be useful somehow. So every experience counts, and I think that this master is the right place for you to embrace many different opportunities and experiences.
Thank you very much, Julia, for your precious testimonial and advice to future applicants. Now back to studio with Léa Douard, academic advisor to the stream. Léa, we just mentioned applicants. What is a typical digital new technology and public policy stream applicant? What kind of students are you looking for?
Yeah, actually, Julia gave excellent advice for future applicants. And also it's a tough question because we don't have a typical students. As students in the cohort are very, very different, which is one of the most interesting stuff in the group, the diversity of people. But I will say that we are looking for students who understand the systemic impacts of technologies. Also students with a critical mind toward technologies and not a solutionist mind. And obviously students at Sciences Po in general, we are looking for open-minded students, but especially in the digital policy stream, because we need students who are not afraid to work in a living topic like digital policies, because everything changed very, very fast, and students as future professionals are really involved in the evolution of the program.
Now let's have a word on cohorts. What is the size of cohorts? How many students do you have?
Yeah. So each year we welcome around 40 new students in the cohort. They are coming from all over the world. I think that this year we have 17 nationalities from every continent, and 1/3 of the group is coming from the Bachelor of Sciences Po, and 2/3 come from other universities in France and around the world, with very different backgrounds in international affairs, law, economics, engineering as well, politics, etc. So very diverse.
So a very diverse cohort with international backgrounds in many disciplines. Thank you very much, Léa. A word on teaching methods. What are the teaching methods like? What is the proportion of lectures, seminars, group projects?
Mm-hmm. So this is a combination of lectures in amphitheater and smaller classes with lots of group projects where students are asked to build their own research questions. As Julia just said, this is important to also know what is your interest and the topic you want to explore more concretely. Also we have some unique academic formats at the School of Public Affairs. So for example, the Public Policy Incubator for the Master in Public Policy, or the big EU simulation for the Master in European Affairs.
And by the time they graduate, what are the skills acquired by students?
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the 2 years, students have all the fundamental theoretical, critical and practical skills they need to shape the future of public policy in the digital era. And more precisely, they are able to analyze, implement and evaluate economics and normative measures to regulate digital issues at the national, European or international levels. They are also able to make the connection between the understanding of technologies and the implication of it in terms of governance or sovereignty, and they are also able to manipulate data, to use data sets to build ethical and inclusive data-driven policies.
Thank you so much, Léa. Now let's have a word with Francesco. Francesco, thank you again for being with us. You are a 2021 graduate from the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream. You are, just like Julia, originally from Italy, and you did your undergraduate studies at Maastricht University. You work as Digital Policy Advisor at the European Parliament in Brussels. Tell us, what is your work about?
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I will say that my work mainly revolves around advising members of the European Parliament belonging to the Greens group around digital policy legislation. I also have some duties regarding coordinating the overall group position on a variety of digital policy dossiers, spanning from artificial intelligence to media freedom, for instance. And then I would say that there is a lot of work going into writing amendments to commission proposals, negotiating the parliament position with other political groups, and finally also negotiating in trilogues with council the final interinstitutional agreement.
Thank you, Francesco. Now, if you look back at your Sciences Po days as a student during your master's at the Sciences Po School of Public Affairs, what would be your best memory as a digital, new technology, and public policy stream student?
Well, I would say that it was definitely the master graduation ceremony. I was part of the 2019 and 2021 COVID cohort. So unfortunately, I only had one semester in campus where I spent the remaining three semesters online. And the possibility of seeing all my classmates after so much time apart was great, and a moment that I will keep close to me forever. And I would also say that the best memory was one of the best memories was also the Grand Oral, where I had to defend my master thesis. I put more than a year of work into that, and it was great to see its culmination after so much effort.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Now, I did say that you graduated in 2021 and you've been working in the digital world ever since. What contributions did the program make to your career?
I would say that the best thing about this degree is its flexible nature and character. So you really have a chance of personalizing your academic curriculum. You have great freedom in choosing different modules and courses, in particular in regards to elective classes. And even if you decide to, let's say, take the digital policy stream as your policy stream, you can eventually explore and navigate different areas of digital policy. So it really gives a comprehensive overview of a variety of digital policy issues at stake nowadays. And likewise, the program also offers you great flexibility in customizing your, let's say, professional curriculum, because you have great freedom in undertaking first relevant professional experience while being abroad at Sciences Po. This can be in between the first and second year, but also during the final semester. You can choose to do an internship, you can choose to go abroad, or even writing a master thesis.
Thank you, Francesco. Now, you work at the European Parliament in Brussels. What were the stages of building your professional project during your studies at Sciences Po?
Well, I would say that the fact that I had this freedom in customizing my, let's say, curriculum allowed me to undertake first internship at the OECD in the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation in between the first and second year. That was 2020, so there was a lot going on around COVID, and I worked on tracking open science initiatives aimed at sharing data between OECD member countries, and also looking at the absorption of EU funds in digital policy programs. Then also during my fourth semester, I also had the chance of writing my master thesis, something that I wanted to do to make my profile more research oriented. But the great thing is that while I was doing that, I also did a part-time internship in an Italian Turin-based NGO working on good and social tech. And even before graduating, I found a job as a policy analyst for Open Future, which is an Amsterdam-based think tank working in digital policy. So I really saw, let's say, the academic specialization being reflected in the different experiences I undertook during my time at Sciences Po, and also straight after that.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Final questions. Do you, just like your schoolmate Julia, have an advice you would like to share to future applicants and students on building their professional project during their studies at Sciences Po?
Yeah, I would really say that it's really important to delve into different areas of tech regulation. We tend to believe that this field is very specific and niche, but in reality, it comprises many sub-areas and they're all connected to each other. So I would say that it's fundamental to have a holistic vision that allows you to understand the different facets around digital regulation. So my advice would be really to explore this policy stream when you will have the chance. And finally, this is perhaps the most important message, is to really trying to find what you like, because Sciences Po really gives you that necessary freedom to understand what you would like to do and what you would like to focus on after Sciences Po. And you will meet some amazing people at Sciences Po, both professors, practitioners, and students. So my best advice would be really to make the best out of your time, having an open and collaborative attitude, and really get to know the people, and also find yourself.
Thank you so much, Francesco, for finding the time to be with us today. We'll get back to you in a moment. Now, final series of questions to Léa Douard. Léa, both Giulia and Francesco mentioned internship and professional experiences. How do graduates enter the job market?
Yeah, more than 80% of our graduates find their first job in the 6 months just after graduation, and even 40% of them find their job before graduation, actually.
And to get such good results, how do you prepare students for professional life?
Mm-hmm. So at the School of Public Affairs, we offer lots of resources to help students to frame their professional projects. So for example, each Monday they receive a newsletter with lots of internship and apprenticeship offers. Also each Thursday we organize careers events with practitioners from very different areas. Also all the Master 2 students as a mentor to help them during the year. And also each week I organize individual meetings with students to help them to navigate through all the different opportunities they have in the program. So either the gap year, the apprenticeship, the master's thesis, and lots of other stuff.
So preparation for professional life starts right at the start of the Sciences Po student experience in the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream. Thank you, Léa. Could you tell us in what sectors and what kind of organizations are graduates recruited?
Yeah, so it's interesting what Giulia and Francesco said, because it's exactly that. We think that digital technology, it's a very specific topic, but actually it's very general, and because digital revolution impacts basically all the areas of our society. So the job opportunities are really broad and diverse. So for example, in the public sectors, we have graduates who work on digital transformation projects in ministries or local governments. Also, they can work in national or European regulation bodies, or even the parliament, just like Francesco at the European level. Also, we have graduates who work in international organizations like the OECD or UNESCO, and also in European institutions, for example, the new AI office for the European Union.
So students get recruited. Please go on.
Yeah, sorry. No. This is for the different stuff you can do in the public sphere, but also we have lots of students who work in the private sector. So, for example, in the public affairs department of big tech, you can also work in innovation departments of companies which deal with other issues like cyber security, health, education, transportation, etc. Also, lots of students are doing an internship or a first job in consulting firms on digital transformation projects. And also, we have students who are involved in the non-profit sectors, in some think tank which are involved in, for example, digital rights or digital inclusion, etc. And also we have some students who are doing a PhD after graduation, even if of course it's not the majority, but it's possible.
Thank you very much, Leah. So we understand graduates get recruited in a variety of sectors, in a great diversity of companies, both in the private and the public sectors in France and internationally. Now is the time for our Q&A session. Thank you, dear viewers, for the many questions you've been asking in the chat of this YouTube Live. Here is the first question from our viewers to Léa Douard, Academic Advisor of the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream. Isn't the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream a niche program compared to maybe more general policy streams offered at the Sciences Po School of Public Affairs?
Yeah, so I think that it's something that we Julia, Francesco, and myself, we talked about during this live. It's true that at the first place you can think that maybe if you choose this program you won't have access to some areas of public policy, but in reality this is a very generalist program, because I remember, but I remind you that you are enrolled in the Master in Public Policy or the Master in European Affairs, and then this is an opportunity to build a specific expertise on digital and new technology, and this is something, this is the quite specific profile that are not so common on the job market so far. So yeah, no, I won't say that it's a niche program, but yeah, a general program with
Thank you so much, Leah. Now, a question to Francesco. Francesco, here is a question on the alumni network at Sciences Po. Let me read it out loud for you. Are you still in touch with your classmates and alumni? What kind of opportunities does the alumni network offers in Brussels?
Well, yes, I'm still in contact, of course, with my classmates. We see each other quite often. I would say that the university also does a great job after graduation, keeping you in touch via various email communication. And there are also in Brussels specifically a big alumni network. So you always bump into people that you either work with or people that simply live in the city. And the alumni network in Brussels, for instance, organizes a variety of different after-work events, and in particular the apéro on Thursday evenings, the monthly one, is a great way to mingle and seeing some old and new faces.
Thank you so much, Francesco. And here is a final question for Julia about the gap year. Julia, you mentioned you did a gap year. And question is it possible to take a year off in between the 2-year program to pursue more internships? The answer is yes. And maybe, Julia, you could explain how you did organize your gap year and what kind of internships you did during that year.
Sure. So it is an opportunity indeed. You have to request the possibility to enroll in a gap year in the middle of the first year, more or less. There is a more specific deadline. So what you can do in the gap year is different things. So the whole idea behind it is that it gives opportunity to students to kind of look outside of the university world and see what's out there beyond the academic studies. So either you can enroll into internships, either you can do an academic exchange and an internship, which is what I did. So for the academic exchange, I could choose between the pretty vast list of international partners that Sciences Po has. So I simply had to apply and then wait for the results. So my first choice was Singapore, and I eventually managed to go there for a full semester. And then for the last semester, I looked out for an internship, which was the case for the traineeship at the European Union office in San Francisco. So this was an application for the European External Action Service that you can find publicly if you look out for traineeship opportunities. But more generally, Sciences Po does accompany students in the research of internships and professional opportunities through Sciences Po Carrière and through the newsletter that Leah talked about. So it really much depends. I have lots of friends that took a gap year, and all the experience were very diversified, either in private sector, either in public sector and private sector, either in NGOs or civil society organizations. So I would very much recommend it because it gives students quite a bit of awareness in terms of what is happening even outside France, even outside the Sciences Po, and then allow us to come back to the last year of the master, with much more awareness of what we enjoy, what we're interested in, and what are the opportunities following the studies.
Thank you very much, Julia. Our information session is now coming to an end. Thank you so much, dear viewers, for attending. We hope that we were able to answer the questions you had on the Digital New Technology and Public Policy stream. Thank you, Leah, Julia, and Francesco for being with us today. Dear viewers, thank you again, and we hope to see you again at Sciences Po soon. Thank you and goodbye.